guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Sherilee and I just enjoy talking about all things beauty related. Good, clean beauty fun. So if that sounds like something you would like, please hit the subscribe button below. I am excited to bring you today another viewer requested video, and that is all about blending eyeshadow. So in a moment, I'm going to take you through this eyeshadow routine, and I'm going to give you tips and tricks from brushes to types of eyeshadows, all different kinds of things to help you get better at your eyeshadow blending. Now, I am also going to be sharing extra tips for those of you like me who have hooded eyes. Now, my eyes are not completely hooded. Some people, their hood extends all the way to the inner corner. Mine kind of opens just slightly right there, but I have predominantly a hooded eye. So I'm going to be giving you tips and tricks. If you've been frustrated in the past, hopefully this will help you. As always, in the description box, I will list all of the shadows that I used in this video, all of the brushes, and I'll list them in the order that I used them, so hopefully that is helpful to you. So if you are ready to become a better eyeshadow blender, then just keep on watching. The first step in making sure that you get a really nice blend in your eyeshadow is primer. Now, what type of eye primer you use can make a difference. My favorite at the moment, which you probably know if you've been watching my channel, is the Smashbox 24-Hour Photo Finish Shadow Primer. What I like about it is it creates a nice, smooth, almost like a silicone-y type finish. And so it's not sticky once it sets down. A couple others that I do like, this is a small mini version, but this is the Ulta Beauty primer, and this is the matte finish, what's it called? Nude matte. And this actually gives a little bit of coverage to the eyelid. It's not quite as long wearing as the Smashbox one, but it still does a great job. And then Urban Decay, their primers are actually really good as well. Just slightly more sticky than the Smashbox, but not bad. So first thing, apply your primer. I've already done that, and then you want to make sure that you give it at least a good minute or more, if you can, to let it set and fully dry. Then you want to go over it with a large fluffy brush and either translucent powder. You can just use your face translucent powder, or an eyeshadow that's close to your skin tone. So I'm going to go ahead and just go in with an eyeshadow, and I'm going to use one of the shadows that we're going to be using today. So this is Full Zip from ColourPop, and this is a Real Techniques fluffy brush. You just want something that's not going to pack on too much, because this is just to set down the primer. And I just go from really the crease up to the brow bone and just do a light layer of that. I don't feel it necessary to set the lid portion, because usually I want that to adhere a little bit better to the shadow that I put on the lid. So now once you've set that down, we are going to start with our eyeshadow. So today I'm going to be using ColourPop eyeshadows. Now, I've just kind of put these colors together. You can use any range of combination of colors that you like. If you stay tuned to the end of this video, I will give you a couple more color options in case you don't want kind of the pinky tones that I've put in here. I'll give you some other examples. ColourPop eyeshadows, Makeup Geek eyeshadows, and MAC eyeshadows. All of those are really great formulas, and you can buy the individual colors that you specifically want for $5 to $6 each. So that's my recommendation. There are lots of great palettes out there as well, but if you're just getting started or really struggling with blending of your eyeshadows, I would recommend being able to pick out your choice of colors and finishes and kind of work on practice with those, and then, you know, pull in a palette or two as well. So for today's colors, I'm going to be using Full Zip, as I mentioned earlier, and for this color, this is going to be our brow bone highlight. You want it to be matte, and you want it to be just a shade or two lighter than your natural skin tone. Now, I'm going to start off with this Morphe M504 brush. It's pretty dense, and I am going to do something that's different than most. Instead of starting kind of at the crease and up or crease and down, we're going to start actually at the brow bone and work our way down. So we're going to go in with that full zip. We're going to really load our brush and pack this on right below the brow bone, and then just gently blend that down to the top of the crease. Make sure you get enough product on your brush to actually see the shadow go on. So this is going to help with our blending process. Next, we're going to go in with a couple of lighter shades. Now, if you've struggled with blending your eyeshadow, you may have been trying to make too big of a leap from your brow bone highlight straight in with a dark color. That is going to cause problems all the time. So the next tip I have for you is to work in smaller levels of color change. So as you can see, we're going from here to here, then I'm going to pull in a third color and before we get into our two deeper shades. So this shade is Popular Demand, and it is just a little bit darker than my skin tone. Not much, just a smidge. And I'm going to go on now with one of my favorite all-time brushes. This has been a huge game changer for me in blending shadow, and this is the Morphe M504. It is fluffy, yet has enough stiffness to it that it can actually blend out the shadow. So we're going to pick up a little bit of that Popular Demand on the tip of that brush, tap off any excess, and then you want to hold your brush about a little further down than halfway. And we're going to start in the outer corner and lightly blend in the crease and then up towards that brow bone highlight color that we already laid down. And because we pulled that brow bone highlight color down, when you blend this up, it automatically fades nicely. And I'm just doing circular motions and back and forth, but first depositing the color in the outer corner and then working inward because I want the most color in this outer corner. Now we're going to go in with the next shade, and we are going to, as we work our way down, we're going to get a little bit smaller with our brushes. This is the Morphe M513. Now this isn't completely necessary if you want to just go right in with the M433. You can. If you can see these brushes, the difference is the M433 is pinched on either side and this one is just round all the way around. But they both are pretty fluffy, soft, and this M513, it just gives me a little more blendability with the next shade. So we're going to go in now with the News, I think it's called. Yes. So we're going to go in now with this pinky tone and on that M513, and again we're going to start in the outer corner just a little bit lower than we went with that previous shade. And the reason why I picked kind of some colorful shades here, because I think it's easier to see the placement when there's a slight little color change. So you can kind of see where we place that, and then it's going to fade. We'll do a little more blending in a minute. Now, after you've placed that color, you're going to go back with your previous brush, no extra product, go right at the top of that where that pink kind of ends, and just gently blend that edge. If you have hooded eyes, these next couple steps are going to be really important. When you're applying eyeshadow, obviously you're lifting your brow and you're looking down into your mirror. but it's important to stop when you think you've blended enough and look straight into the mirror and see if you can see that color. Because what happens if you only blend with your eye wide open like this, you relax your brow and we've lost all of that color. So we don't want that to happen. So at this point, you should start seeing at least a little bit of that second color. If you don't see it, you're gonna wanna take it up just a little bit higher. Okay, so now we're gonna go on to our next deeper shade. This is called Popular Demand right here. I'm gonna go in with the M433 brush by Morphe. And now we're going to, again, start on the outer corner. You're gonna think this is a broken record. We're gonna do outer corner, and this time we're not gonna take this color all the way in. We're just gonna keep it on kind of the outer half of the crease. You wanna place, blend, and then now with what's left on your brush is you wanna take that up, especially if you have hooded eyes. You wanna look straight ahead and very lightly, see how far down I'm holding this brush, very lightly blend upwards. And again, I'm gonna look straight in the mirror and make sure that I can see that color. We're good. Okay, and then if you look and you see any harsh lines or it's not looking quite blended, go back with your previous brush. If you were using the M433 for this color, just wipe it off really well and blend very lightly around the edge. So sometimes, it took me a long time to figure this out, but sometimes the problem with blending your eyeshadow is you're holding this brush like it's a paintbrush and you're really going like this, and what that's doing is it's scrubbing the color around, the shadow around too much, and then you're getting too deep through the layers of shadow that you have on your lid. So you just want to very lightly blend the edge. Okay, now another tip is if you're having still troubles right here on the outer corner, you can tilt your head back, turn your brush on its side, and gently bring that up. Okay, so now you could absolutely stop here. If you're doing more of a lighter daytime look, you can stop here. You can put on the shimmery lid shadow, which we're going to do in a second, or you can add one more tone, which is this deeper, darker tone, because I just like a little darker outer corner, personally. That's just me. So I'm going to go in with this tiny little brush. This is a Morphe M506. This is kind of new to me, but it has a little bit of a point on it. It's smaller, so I feel like I have a little more control of where I place this dark color, and then I can go back and blend it out. If you don't have this brush, you can use a good old pencil brush, something like this guy. It's a little more rounded. You can also take a flat brush, which is another thing I like to do. If you want a lot of color out here, you can go out here and pack on the dark color. But for today, we're going to keep it simple. So I'm going to go in with this dark color. It's called Noche. And I'm going to go right into the crease and pull it down slightly. Now, again, if you have hooded eyes, this is going to be really important that you take this up slightly higher than you think you need to. And then feather lightly in. Okay, now don't panic at this point. It doesn't have to look completely blended yet. We're going to go back, and this is why we did all that work in the crease, is because when you get to these darker shadows, if you have a base of colors to blend into, it will soften so much quicker. Okay, after you've placed it, we're going to go back through our brushes. So I'm going to go back with this brush, first with no additional product, and we're going to blend just the edge of that dark shadow. Blend, 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 blend. It's going to sound like a broken record, but it is true. Requires a lot of blending. Okay, and then I'm going to take just a little bit of this color again on the tip of that brush and right on the tip of that brown shadow. And you don't want to blend this color all the way down back into the crease because that is going to kind of muddy this nice little gradation color that we've got going on here. So just go right on the edge. Now at this point you don't need to blend away crazy. You don't need to go crazy. Instead, in order to blend, we're going to go now with our previous brush, this one with no additional product. And we're going to blend just the top edge of that. Okay, so now as I'm looking straight ahead into the mirror, I can see all of those colors peeking around the edge. So that's what you should be able to do. If you can't, go ahead and take that darker color just a little. Actually, I would go back with the second to darkest color and use that to pull up just a little more on the outer corner so you can see it. Okay, now when you've gotten this far, if you're looking and let's say you got a little carried away and now you have a pink brow bone because you brought your color up too high, don't panic. Go back with your brow bone highlight brush, and if you need more product, you can go right on the tip of that, and you can use this as a little bit of an eraser. So I'm just lightly brushing down, and you can see it just muted that edge of it and softened it, and then you can go back with your little fluffy brush, no extra product, and blend that edge. And there you go. Okay, so now it's time for the lid color, and this is where it's totally up to you what you want to do because there's not a whole lot of blending we have to do after this, but I'm going to show you my favorite look to do, which is to add a little bit of a shimmery color because this is the part that I can see when I'm looking straight ahead, so it's not quite as hooded here. So you can use a pearly shade, you can just go in with one of the lighter matte shades here, totally up to you. So I'm just going to go in with, what is this color? This is kind of new to me. It's called Ego, and it is such a pretty color. Kind of like a peachy champagne color. So as always, I like to do a base first. So I'm going to use this Bobbi Brown shadow stick in golden pink, and I'm just going to put a little bit of this shimmer on this inner corner. And then I'm going to top it with that shade right here. And I'm just using a flat shader brush to do this. And I'm being careful not to take this into the crease, because I think when you start getting glitter or shimmer in your crease and it starts going up, that's when it starts highlighting texture. It can make your eyeshadow look a lot less blended. And we went to all that trouble, so you don't want to mess it up at this point with too much shimmer. So keep this on the inner, almost the inner half. I kind of angle it like this. Okay, and then I'm gonna go back in with our mid-tone, this color brush. No extra product, but I'm just going to brush the edge of the matte shade into that shimmer right on the edge. And there you have it. So now I'm going to apply my eyeliner, mascara, and clean up under the eye, and I'll be right back. Okay guys, I'm back with the finished look. So let's just examine our blending and see if we got it right. So after I add mascara, and obviously I added lower lash line liner and stuff too, I will always go back and just look straight again into the mirror and make sure that I can see just a hint of those colors that we have in the crease. And if not, you just take your little brush, your trusty, either one of these, this brush, or maybe your fluffier brush, and just go right on the edge of that and lightly blend out the corner or any other area that you need. You usually don't need to add any more product, but sometimes I just go back and just gently blend the edge if I think it needs to be just a little softer. So hopefully that gave you some tips and tricks to try with your eyeshadow blending. And again, it's just practice makes perfect, as with everything. So give yourself a little extra time some morning, sit back and play with your eyeshadows. As promised, I'm going to give you a couple of other shadow color options in case you don't want this kind of hint of a kind of warm pinky tone in the crease. So if you wanted something that was definitely just all neutral, just all browns, this would be another option for you. Obviously you can do whatever you want for the shimmer shade, but this, I just switched out the middle two colors. So this is a shade called Freckles. I think that's such a cute name. And this one is Manhattan Coffee Run. So both of these are just slightly darker browns, and then of course into that Noche. So this would be this would give you a really nice fade of a brown, kind of more of a brown eye look. Now, if you didn't want browns and you wanted to go with all pinks kind of into a plummy color, a couple of options would be this Dreamboat. So instead of Golden Gate Bridge, which is this more skin tone color, which you could use this, but if you want it really pink, we could start with this Dreamboat, and then I would go in next with Labrynth, so this tone, and then add Get Out. I think I used that in my birthday makeup video, and then finally end with Cloud 9. And then you could switch out the shimmer color with like this On the Fence color, which is just a really nice kind of shimmery pink color. Okay, so that gives you just some other options if you were to choose ColourPop eyeshadows, because again, they're only $5 each. This little palette is a Z palette, but ColourPop now has their own, and it just has a magnet in the base of it, and so these shadows just magnetize into that palette, so you can easily switch them out. So I hope this video proved helpful to you. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, I would love to have you as a subscriber. Hit that button below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.